It's so much work to get this thing done. Hang on. Okay, that sounds like the sound is working, which is what we want. Alright, let's get that out of here. Okay. And get this out of here. One. Okay, good. That's wrong. Good. Okay. All right. So I think yesterday we finished everything. Oh my god. 2.1. I don't get it. Like I don't change anything and then. Oh, that's still terrible. Still, oh my. 1.5, 10. 10 would be mad. Okay. I think that's about normal. So, yesterday we finished all these things. We looked at the steel production. We haven't done this. And then we also looked at the deuterium ore. I think we were going backwards with the electromagnetic control rod. Alright, so let's find the start of that production line. Get this present out of here. Okay. Question is it down here? I don't know. Okay, electromagnetic control rod. Where are thou? This is silica. Oops. This is deuterium production. Because I want to go backwards here. Okay, here we go. I think I boosted this production line as well. Yes, yes we did. Okay, so we will kick off the guide again. Okay, welcome back. We have just gone through quite a bit of effort to put together the electromagnetic control rod production line. So now we will show you how that all came together. So the first step here is that we need both AI limiters, that we need to produce electromagnetic control rods. Currently we have 5 assemblers, so we need to take that to 10 because the net demand is going to be 28 from these guys, and I know that the other demand here, which comes from the uranium waste processing is going to go to 12 for a total of 40 electromagnetic control rods per minute. So we're going to make exactly 40 in 10 assemblers using 40 AI limiters and 60 stators per minute. Right. So we have the production line right here. So the existing production line is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are producing, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new assemblers that are producing electromagnetic control rods. Of course, they use stators and AI limiters as the input, and of course we will show you how to build those. Now in this particular case, we have two inputs, so we have a pretty standard way of injecting the input here, which just involves connecting these things like so. And I've of course connected everything else already. So let's hook this guy up. Okay, so now this should be getting everything that it needs to start producing electromagnetic control rods, and then we just have to aggregate the output here. Let's just make sure that when this produces that we get a whole bunch of them coming back here, and then we should be good to go any minute now. Okay, I saw a few come through, so it's exactly what we want to see. So that's good. And then of course they make their way. Now in this case I wanted to use the second slot, the first slot. Well, this is the first slot on the ground, and then the one up is the second slot, because there's actually quite a lot of materials going back and forth. So this is the technique that I used. Rather than like a sort of ramp, I went up by 6 and then down by 4 again. So you can see the electromagnetic control rods are being produced, and then they of course get transported all the way back and into the production of the uranium fuel rod, nuclear fuel rods, right over here. So they get lifted up a little bit because they have to be split, and then they get lifted up here and also split into this production line here that then produces the uranium fuel rods. Okay, so for the input of the electromagnetic control rods, we of course have AI limiters and stators. So let's take a look at the AI limiters as a first step. As you can see, AI limiters and stators. So AI limiters, let's see, here are produced using quick wire and copper sheet, right? So let's mark this as done. So 100 copper sheet and 400 quick wire currently produce 20 AI limiters per minute and 4 assemblers. So now we have to actually go to 8 assemblers, and then of course we'll be producing 40 AI limiters, and that's the demand here. And we will be needing 800 quick wire per minute and 200 copper sheet per minute. Now the fact that this is 800 quick wire per minute means that our Mark 5 belts will no longer do, because they can only carry 720. So we will have to find a way of taking the last little bit of the quick wire and actually sort of doubling up the conveyor belts. Alright, and we will actually see evidence of that right here. So what we've done, okay, so this is the copper, this is the quick wire, and then if we go down here, we can actually see that at one part here, we actually essentially refresh the quick wire input rate by injecting a little bit more quick wire into the production line. So that's sort of how you get more than 800 into the production. So right here we see copper sheet, quick wire, AI limiters. So again, we have two inputs, so we use a pretty standard mechanism here to get the inputs in. Okay, right after the autosave completes. Alright, we didn't manage to get rid of these. Alright, so let's connect this through, let's connect this into here, and this through here, and this through here, and then connect that into the input, and then we also connect this into the input. Right. Now, for some reason, the copper sheet is not arriving here. Oh, it just takes some time. I think that's fine. We of course need to increase the input rate of the copper sheet as well to meet this whole new demand. Right. And now we also need to connect the output right here. So this is the output line. Oops. Okay, I got this wrong. So like this, let's check. Okay, good. And then we're producing the new AI limiter. So you can see the copper sheet is slowly coming in here. But yeah, it'll take a little bit of time for this copper sheet to actually start producing or these AI limiters to be produced at a higher rate, because we are yet to connect more copper into the mix. Okay. So one of the inputs is of course this quick wire, and we'll focus on this quick wire first. Okay, let's mark this as done. So yeah, we have to deal with this in a minute, but we'll go all the way up to this quick wire production here. So currently the net demand is 400, but actually the net demand is now going to be 800. So we're going to go to not 147 constructors, just 14. And of course we're going to be producing about 840 quick wire per minute, making use of 168 deuterium ingot per minute. And like I said before, 840 is smaller than the 720. So the last sort of 4 of these we will need to connect into a separate belt, which of course we've done right here. Sorry, the last 2, because actually each one produces 60, which we've done right here. But of course on the input line we're actually fine, because it's only 168 deuterium ingot per minute, so it's not going to be a problem. Alright, so this is a pretty simple constructor-based input-output line. So we just need to put one splitter in here, connect the belts through. Okay, make sure that this recipe is working fine, which it is, and then we just need to connect the output here as well. And we should be getting a lot more deuterium wire getting delivered into this production line. Okay, so these are all pretty straightforward and sort of chained together one after the other, and you'll see that at the front here we're actually throwing in basically a full belt of this stuff into the mix, which is going to be absorbed by this production line, but of course not yet, because we also need to improve the copper sheet production. Now, the last step for the deuterium line is, okay, so let's mark this as done, is of course the smelting. So the net demand is no longer 84, it's 168. Okay, let's make that right, 168. So we need to go to 12 smelters here, and we're going to be producing 180 deuterium ingot, which is probably a little bit more than we actually need, from about 400, 540 deuterium ore per minute. So the key number here is that this is less than 720, it's also less than 600. So we should be fine in terms of our input and output belt to keep them just a single one. In this case, I sort of changed the orientation of this one, because we actually have, what is this? something here, I don't know, or water coming down, which is I think some overflow water. So yeah, we just sort of, instead of going the usual sort of like this, we just went straight through. And the deuterium ore is of course being lifted from somewhere at the back here, up and onto this level from the receiving, the transportation level. So that's all connected already. So let's go over here. Again, the smelters are fairly straightforward input-output kind of a arrangement with a single input and a single output. So let's connect this through, connect that in. We'll make sure that this is all working, which it is. And then we just have to put in our output line here. Okay, preferably in the right location as well. Okay, so let's put that through here. And now we can see that we have plenty of more deuterium actually being produced. Okay, so that's the deuterium ore processing done. Okay, so now let's go and take a look at the stator production. So now we need to actually go and find where that's being done. So I'm going to do that and then I'll be back. Alright, let's see, where's the stator being produced? I have no idea. I think it's one level down. Because we've used up all of this level. Alright. You put this in. I put that in. I think that's fine. Okay. This is the copper ingot. Okay. Still wiring and okay. Found a status. Right. Okay, we've managed to find the status. In this case, currently the demand 220 copper ingot producing copper sheet. Okay, that's the wrong one. Okay, here we go. Currently the production rate or the demand that we are seeing from the electromagnetic control rods was 30 stators. Now of course it's 60, so we're going to have to go to 12 assemblers here and go to 60 stators. They then of course need 500 wire per minute and 160 steel pipe per minute. Okay, and this is a kind of usual 2 input line. So let's see where my gap is. Okay, up to here would have been the previous production line. This is all the new production line. So let's connect this in. Just need to switch this guy to there and then lift this to there. Okay, great. Let's connect this in. And then this can go into there. One of the things that I haven't done here, that I just noticed, so you can see that it's now producing. The things I haven't done here is actually connect these things in, so let's quickly finish that off. Otherwise we're not going to be actually producing any of these materials. Okay, so this is now getting both of the inputs and outputs, and then we can connect together the little bit of the new output here. So let's do that as well. Connect this into there, this into there, and this into there. So I don't see any status being produced, but they are produced relatively slowly, and I can just see one go by there. Okay. So the next part of the production line that we will follow, of course this takes wire and steel pipe as the input. So as you can see, the wire is being produced right here, so we'll take a look at that production line next. Okay, so let's mark this as done. Okay, so currently the net demand for wire was 250, now it's actually 500. So we need to go to 18 constructors right here that are going to be producing 540 wire per minute, making use of 270 copper ingot per minute. Okay, and of course this is a pretty straightforward production line in a constructor. They just take copper ingot and produce wire. Alright, so let's go backwards and take a bit of a look. Alright, so yeah, pretty straightforward production line, just a single input output. So we'll connect this through here, connect this in, and then this will start to produce, which is excellent. And then we will also connect in the output. Cool. And now we have boosted our wire production, which is excellent news. Okay, and then we can also actually put this guy in the right place. So here. Sometimes a bit hard to get it exactly right. Right, come on. I think that's right. Nope. Alright. Sometimes you just have to figure out which angle will tell you, make it easy to put in. Alright. I think that's right. Yeah. Okay, very good. Now, the next step then, of course, will be the copper ingot production. Now, whilst I was over here and producing the various things, we'll actually also take a look at the other copper requirements. Okay, so yeah, we've done this step. Right, now we are down to this copper ingot. In the case of the copper ingot, currently the net demand is from a range of places. So the one that we were just looking at went to 270. And then the copper sheet production, which we'll take a look at in a minute as well, actually will demand 440 now. So that's this one, which is right next to this production line. And then for another production line, actually that's not going to change, although we will, well, no, this part isn't going to change actually. This is the demand from the alkyd aluminum sheet, which we're already way over producing, and there's a good reason for that. That's so that we actually have some of them available, because they actually are the material for the conveyor belts Mark 5. But yeah, there's only actually demand for 10, which is going to go to 20, and this needs about 60 copper ingots, so this demand here actually isn't going to go up. Now if we add all of this up, that's actually 770 in terms of the copper ingot demand, right? So 40 plus 60 is 500, and yet these 270. So in reality, we actually did go to 28 smelters, because I forgot that this didn't actually double. So we're actually going to be producing 840 copper ingot from 840 copper ore. Now, the fact that this is 840 means that we actually need to double up our input lines. And what you can see right here is that we are actually getting 2 copper lines. The second one gets transported all the way to the back there, and then essentially refreshes this line once we have exhausted all of the demand. Then on the output line of the copper ingot, we actually have 2 lines as well. One of these is sort of one of these, so this is the 60 demand, goes down to where we are producing the alkyd aluminum sheet. This one gets passed straight into the copper sheet production, and actually the second level of the output here, or the first level, depending on if you're in America, actually just refreshes this one, and then we also have the rest of the copper ingot just go back to the copper wire production. Alright, so let's go and do what's necessary to actually double this production. So yeah, this is a fairly straightforward input-output kind of single input, single output kind of a deal. So we'll just connect the input here. Alright, and that's starting to produce. And then of course we have the output right here, which we can connect in as well. Okay, and the lifting is actually done for, so the second line here is actually done for what, the last 4 of them, because they produce about 30, so the last 120 actually make their way onto the second level. Okay, so that finishes this production line as well. Since this is right next to where we are right now, we're also going to look at the copper sheet. So currently the net demand is 106, so we're going to go to 212 instead. And of course we'll be going to 22 constructors, demanding 220 copper, producing 220 copper sheet and demanding 440 copper ingot, which of course matches the demand that we had noted up here. So yeah, we have to go to 22 constructors, which is quite a lot. But the input and output is actually less than 720, so we don't actually need a second level. So this again is a fairly straightforward single input, single output kind of arrangement. So let's hook this in. See that this is now starting to produce. So we will connect this together. I think this is right. Nope. Not yet. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now we have also boosted the production of the copper sheet. All right. So, in terms of the stator production, copying it. I'm just trying to find it. Okay, here we go. So, in terms of this one here, we've taken care of the wire input requirement, but we haven't yet taken care of the steel input requirement. The steel input requirement is actually like 160 steel pipe. Looks innocent, but it's actually quite a lot of material. This is one of the big complex parts of this whole production line. So let's go to I'm going to go to the location where the steel is being produced, and then I'll show you and we'll sort of step through how all of this happens. Okay, so where's the steel? Alright. Where is it? Okay, here we go. I think I found it. The steel beam production is right here. Steel ingot, and then of course this is the steel pipe, right? So we'll start with the steel pipe actually. Okay, so we have found the steel pipe production, it's on the same level. So in terms of the steel pipe, there's actually going to be demand from elsewhere, and that demand is going to be coming from another one of the inputs that we will have to do, which is the encased industrial beam. So that demand will go to 160, and then this demand here will go to 336, I believe. 336 divided by 2, yep. So we're going to have to take this to 26 constructors producing 200, 400, 520. This doesn't seem right. Oops, I think there's an autosave going on. 20 steel pipe. We will have 26 constructors. Yeah, it's actually going to be producing a lot. Oh, I hadn't added this up yet. So 336 plus 160. So if we just add 60 here, it's 396, so it's 496. Right, let's just make sure that that's right. 336 plus 160. Oops. 496, 496. So yeah, we're going to go to 26 constructors, which of course are going to be producing 520 steel pipe per minute, and they're going to need 600 plus 180, 780 steel per minute, which is quite a lot of steel. Right. In fact, it is so much steel that we actually will be exceeding the 720 that can be delivered by a single belt, which is why you see this other belt that is also actually going to inject some steel into this. So let's go back to where we have our steel ingot steel pipe production. Okay, so fairly straightforward production line as well. Actually, this would be the output side. So let's connect this through. Currently not producing because it's not getting steel ingots, but we can improve that situation. Okay. Good. Disconnect it in here. Alright, so now these are all producing and able to produce output. So as you can see, a lot of these actually get a new steel input line. And let's just make sure that yes, so this is where we had already saved up a lot of this demand. So that's why it's sort of clogged up. Okay, and then the steel production, of course, happens right here. Now, in this case, if we look at the steel production, so we can actually mark this as done. So the net demand here is actually going to be 780 and then 240. Going to a total of 1020. Because of course, if you had the 40 here, we're at 820, and then you had the 200, then we're at 1020. So we're going to have to go to 26 foundries. 26 foundries that are going to be demand producing 585 times 2, 1,140. No, 70. Which is a lot. But, hang on, where is it? So each one produces 45. So 26 times 45 is 1,170 actually. So my maths, oh no, I got it right. Okay, 1,170, which is of course a little bit more than is needed. It's probably one more than we actually needed to put down, but we have it now, so I'm going to leave it in place. Now, this means that both the input and the output lines are actually more than 720. And the coal demand is actually one of the highest material demands in total that we have, being a total of 1,430, which is just a little bit more than the iron ore. because it's actually being used to produce the aluminum as well. So this is where on the input line, of course on the output line we've already looked at, on the input line we have quite a complex arrangement actually, because what we had to do, because of course all of these lines are occupied, so I couldn't make these two another coal and iron ore. It would have been good to have another 4 meters of clearance up here, but I didn't. So what we did instead is that we have run the new or additional iron ore and coal on one level above, and once the 720 ran out, which is around here, we actually have the new coal and iron ore get shipped down from above. Alright, so this is the input side, so let's connect the input side here. 1, 2, 3. Alright, and then we can connect this part. Then we should also connect this part. Okay, so this is now going to be producing steel. Then we just need to connect the output here. Okay. So let's do this. Now, of course, the output is already doubled up, and it's actually in the same location as the new input materials are coming down, because, of course, input-output here for 1 iron ore, we get 1 steel ingot out. So now we have connected all of this production here, and it should be starting to be consumed. Now some of this production here is idle because we haven't quite finished all of the other doubling that we have to do. So in the end, it'll all be used. It's just in this construction period, it might not be completely used. Okay, so the other location that this steel goes to is actually down here. So for another purpose, we will actually need, if I go back to the steel production, we can mark this as complete. We will actually need steel ingots, steel beams for something else. I can't quite remember for what, but I'm sure we'll find it. So the net demand is going to be 36, so we will go to 4 constructors, producing a total of 60 steel beam per minute, which is of course way too much. So I made another little mistake here in terms of the number of constructors actually put down, but that's okay. It's only a small mistake. So we probably only really needed 1 more, but we have 2 more because I just went through every production line and I doubled the number of buildings that were actually building it. So that was sort of the pre-build that we had done already. Okay, so let's connect this up. Again, straight single input, single output kind of arrangement. Steel beams actually down, they use a lot more input materials than they produce in terms of output, just in terms of quantity. But yeah, so now we have also taken care of the steel. So we should now be actually able to produce all of these electromagnetic control rods, because we have actually connected in the AI limiters, and we have done the Stator production line. And we've also added a few other things as well that were just sort of, convenient things for us to also take care of whilst we were in a given location. Now, the next step would actually be to look at so if we look at this uranium fuel rod, this uranium fuel rod production, we've now taken care of the encased uranium cell, we've taken care of the electromagnetic control rod. So next we will actually look at this encased industrial beam. So I'm going to go prepare those production lines and then we'll step you through it. So I'll be back shortly. Alright, let's do this production line. Alright, so we actually only have a small number here in terms of the assemblers. Now the concrete is going to be kind of difficult. So yeah, we're going to be doing this one, and this one, because the rest, now we can also get rid of these two lines. All the rest is actually related to processing the uranium waste. So after we connect in these things here, we will just have to do whatever it takes to actually process the uranium waste. Alright, so let's see. I can't quite remember where the industrial beam is actually being produced. Actually, I think it's over here somewhere. Okay. Quite far back. It's on the top there. Yeah. Oh no, I followed the wrong thing. It might actually get stuck down to a different level. So let's go back. These are those. Let's see. Okay. This is the steel pipe. Ah. It goes to right here. Okay. So, case industrial beam. We have 6 assemblers, so we need to add another 6. It's actually interesting that these are not actively being consumed, since that's the last thing that's sort of holding back demand. So let's connect this back here. Then we may as well actually sort of line this up, because it's only 3 more. Okay. Assemblers, we just need 6 of them. It'd be good if it remembered like the orientation when you copy. 4. Okay, need more of the heavy plate. That's fine. Alright, the reinforced plate, I should say. Then we have to figure out the concrete. It is going to be another challenge. We only have 20 iodine filters left, so have to see how we go with those. Right, let's go pick up more things. There are a couple of trains that are saying that something has gone wrong. Okay. Get rid of these presents. Get rid of this. This. Okay. Don't need more of these pipes. Don't need them right now. Don't need this right now. Let's show some of this. Don't need this. Need a bunch of this. Anything else? Production, assembler. Nope. Alright. So what's the problem? let's go take a look at what's going on. Maybe that's why the production lines are not actually being used, because the material is not being delivered. Something's wrong with the train. Alright. What's up, Mr. Train? What? Why aren't you going? Okay. Train is waiting to see. Yeah, it's because that stupid train was stuck. And no reason for it to be stuck, it was just sitting there. Which is a great bug. And then of course this train here. Oh, that train up there is also going to be waiting at the signal. Right, let's make sure that once the signal turns green, that this guy goes. Good. Can deliver material. And then this other train is now going to be coming down here, and then the trains will have to space out again. Okay, very annoying. We've noticed that with the nitrogen trains as well, is that sometimes they get stuck for no reason. It's a lot of uranium waste. How much of this stuff? Okay, it's all empty. And how much of this uranium waste? Only 500 or so. That's all good. Alright, let's go back to the encased industrial beam production. Should be just one level up. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we need just 2 more here. 1 and 2. So we'll skip 1. Skip this one. That actually has an impact on our power production if the trains don't work, which is pretty bad. If we can't rely on our trains to deliver, then we shouldn't. It's pretty dangerous to rely on power. It's dependent upon them working. case industrial pipe. Okay, we had some auto run kind of magic going on there. Let's see. Let's connect the power as well. Auto save incoming. And then we will have to think about what we're going to do about the concrete. Okay. Because these demand only 20 concrete per minute, so actually most of the demand isn't going to come from this concrete here. It's going to be some other things. Yeah, it's probably going to be when they lift it up. So this is fine in terms of the concrete. Alright. So we'll leave this one disconnected, and then we'll just connect this guy. So annoying. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. It's so dark these days with these colors. It's hard to see anything. Might have to change them again. Kind of miss my green and pink. It's nice and cheery and bright and easy to see, and now it's just super hard to see everything. Everything is just black. Maybe what we can do is change it to a bit of gray. Alright, a little bit brighter. Especially like the buildings. Alright. I think that's better. At least we can see a little bit better now. Okay, so that's this production line. The next step is this one. So actually this concrete is going to be fine in terms of the output. It's the limestone input that we have to worry about. How much more of them do we need? 21, so we need another 21 constructors. That's mad. Absolutely mad. Alright. So we'll just sort of put down a couple of these. So, okay, output goes here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Right, let's set the recipe for concrete. This is probably the most ridiculous one of them. Guess what? More concrete. Okay, so I guess we'll do the merger first. Okay. Alright. Then let's do the power. Okay. Never mind. Let's see. Can I grab any power from over here? Alright. I have to skirt around things. So I need, look at all of that. That's not producing yet. Alright, I have to stay like on this side. Maybe this one? No. No, 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 yes. Okay, let's grab some more plates as well. Guess we can grab a little bit of concrete too. Alright. So we were working on that production line right there. I think that was the first time that I'd ever run out of materials whilst putting down mergers. It's just tilt. Gives you an idea about the number of mergers we're doing right here. Okay. Expecting that get irradiated in a minute, so let's put that hazmat suit back on. Oh my god. go, I believe it'll be down to grab more of that. Oh, this already has 2 input lines on it. Right. But yeah, this is actually going to be 1800 limestone. How come this only says 585? It says 945. How much limestone did we actually do then? How much did we end up connecting? Anyway, we'll see down there. Belts. I hope it's enough limestone. Right, this is full. Let's see, anything we want to delete? What we did? This as well. So we would have the 600 limestone from here, the 720 limestone from here, and probably the 720 limestone from there. So let's make sure that we've done all of those, because that would be about 2000 limestone, which is what we're going to need. So we actually need a 3rd limestone. Yeah, I don't think that we've done that. I think one of them might be missing. Alright, let's check. This is limestone. This is 2 input lines. One is coming from here. Okay. One is coming from over there. So we haven't connected in that other limestone. So we need to do that. Did I bring my power shards? No. So right now we would have 600 plus 720, and we need 945. Okay, I think 600 will be enough. Let's see, do I have all the materials? No. Okay, let's get rid of this. Okay, so I need some turbo motors and portable miners. Limestone. then we would be putting this down, but we need to get rid of that. This, and then do the ramp right there. Right, that'll just have to do. So that is going to give us an additional limestone, and then we'll do floor hole right here. Okay. To know that we have plenty more foundations. Okay, we have this. Oh wait, alright. No, I want that. Let's delete some of these. Right, we'll take that. And then a bunch of turbometers. And then we have plates and that, so that's good. I might just put this and no, supercomputers will have to come with us. We need a third material slot. But we need two more. Okay, we get rid of this. We get rid of that. Okay, good. So let's go to ground level. Alright, I'm just gonna just sort of do that. Cool. So now we need to find the limestone. Okay, 300 meters to the northeast. So we're gonna do that. So we're gonna pick that up. It's in here. Sure, we'll take that. Except we'll delete that. Okay. No, this goes underwater. Interesting. Okay, I think it would be like right here. Okay, production, equipment, workshop. Let's get some of these portable miners done. Now, let's see, object scanner. It's like right under here, but I didn't bring any explosives. Is there another one? Let's see. Power slugs. Okay, so there's one like right over here to the southeast. Might have already picked that one up. There's another one like further to the southeast, so let's pick up that one. So just past that one, there would be one in there. And one is all I need to get this to 720. Ah, here we go. Get a craft bench. Good. And then we just get this back. This will need to go above the copper. So let's put it here. Okay, good. Limestone is arriving. Alright, let's put this hazmat suit thing back on. Alright, let's try and get it through here. And where would it be? Must be, yeah, right there. Okay. No. Where is it? Do I see it there? I think I see it right there. Alright, so how about walls? Just draw like a little bit of a wall here, and then we will do conveyor wall mount. This is risky because, come on, get up here. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's that one. Alright. Where is the holder? I can't see. It's this one. Right. Yeah, here we go. So let's do this. This is not going to be the prettiest. It's very difficult to actually do this well. Okay, so that looks like it's good. And then we can do this. So if we put in 1, 2, like that. Oh my. It's like you just can't get up there. Come on. So then this should be here. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, that's good. Okay, and then this that goes to maybe right here. So let's try this. Okay, that's pretty good. That's also pretty good. Alright, I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be back in 1 moment. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, auto save. Alright, I think that should be up there now. So let's go back into the. We only have 19 iodine filters left. Alright. Very high irradiation levels right here. Actually, we needed to go to here. Okay. Okay, so be right here. So there's limestone available here now, which is exactly what we need. So let's get this limestone up. Okay, right here. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. There you go. Limestone is lifting. Probably should actually go the other way, but anyway. Good. Now. Oh no. We are good. Well. Well. Saying that, let's see. I think that'll work. Right, here we go. So we will put something right here. Right, and then I don't know, will this work? No, not at all. Let's go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see. Okay, we needed one more, so we needed 8. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 3. No, I don't know. I don't know how that goes. Alright, here we go. Let's hope that that's fine. Yep. That into there. Why are you okay, it was that the belt was going the wrong direction. Alright. Let's put one on here. This was actually wrong. Limestone is the one that sort of has the most input material. Okay, so if this is going down here, and we assume that, well, let's go backwards. So 45, no, 720 over 45, so 16 of them. can be connected to 1. So let's count backwards from the back. Actually, no, this would be a splitter. This is the input side. Alright. And 1. And 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. 15. 16. Okay. So I think this would be 2, 3, 4, 6, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So that's too long. So let's put one right here. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. This down. Yes, it is. Okay. Okay, that's flat. And let's see. Let's get this one. Good. These have. I still think that this concrete is like ridiculous in terms of how much raw material it produces, consumes for what it produces. It's like wow, that's only a 3-for-1 really. But all right. I think there are some that are 4-for-1. The steel is also pretty crazy, especially the steel beam. That one is a 4-for-1. Okay. We would have had big problems if we'd gone to like 3x scaling. It's pretty insane that I was even thinking about that. Well, it's always good to like look at options, you know. All right. So we'll leave. No, we won't leave this one. Okay, we'll leave this one. Okay, let's do the. Oh, I've already done the outputs. All right. Oh, this is where I ran out of material. Wait. I think we'll finish it today. We'll see. There are not that many crazy production lines left. The rest is fairly sort of okay. Alright, so here we go. What is this? Okay. We'll start over here. And we can go examine the output, the production rates up top actually. Okay, we are back now. We are going to be focusing on this industrial beam production, right? So the demand was 8.4, now it's going to be 16.8 per minute. Of course, from these down here, producing the uranium fuel rod. So we're going to need 12 assemblers that will be producing 48, which is actually a lot. I don't think that's what. Hang on, let's check that. Are we actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? They produce 4 per minute. Yeah, okay. So I must have done a mistake here as well. We didn't actually need this much of it. Okay, anyway, we're going to still be connecting it up. So in 12 assemblers, we're going to be producing 48 encased industrial beam, of course, using 240 concrete per minute, and going to be consuming 168, 320, 336 steel pipe per minute. So let's mark this as done because we're about to do it. Alright, so well, this is a 2 input produces 1 output kind of arrangement. Right. So the reason that we're using this one is that it's actually slightly more efficient. So this is an alternate recipe. You end up using slightly less steel ingots. The other one, of course, here is the steel beam, but it actually takes 4 steel ingots to make 1 steel beam. So this is essentially 16 steel ingots, whereas this one, it only takes about 1 and a bit of steel ingot to produce 1 pipe, so this is a lot lower steel demand. So that's why I usually use this recipe. Of course, the alternate recipes can be found using by scanning hard drives, which are available throughout the world. Although it is kind of random which ones you end up getting. What did I just do? 1, 2, 3. It's like I deleted what I just built. Alright, let's connect this through. Now, I'm glad that all the mistakes I've made are sort of overproducing rather than underproducing. But yeah, now this is working, so it's going to be making encased industrial beams here, which is exactly what we want. So now we have actually figured out every single, or not yet. So, right, so this concrete, we've already taken care of the steel pipes, so now we have to take care of this concrete, right? So we actually have to change this. So the encased industrial beam demand is going to be 240, and then another demand, which we'll be looking at later, is going to be 150, and then also another demand is going to go to 240. So this is actually going to be 660. Is that right? 240 plus 150 plus 240. 240 plus 150 plus 240. No, it's going to be 630. Oh yeah, of course, because it was 315. Okay, and we're going to be doing this in 42 constructors that are going to be producing 630 concrete per minute, making use of 1,890 limestone per minute. Now, this is more than 1440, so you actually need 3 input belts. So before I said that coal is one of the most demanded inputs, it's actually not, it's limestone. So you can see that we have 3 belts here feeding limestone to the back. So that now we only need 1 output belt because the limestone production is actually a 3-for-1, so 3 limestone to 1 concrete. Sorry, the concrete production is 3-for-1, 3 limestone for 1 concrete. We'd already connected quite a lot of it in, so we just have to go here. We need a splitter. Right. Great. So now this is producing concrete, and then of course in the output we just need 1 output line, so that's kind of simple. Okay, I'm pretty sure I got this wrong. Okay, so that's now all producing concrete. So we have done this, and yeah, we've already taken care of this. We actually have 3 Mark III miners that are coming in, 1 on top of normal node and 2 on top of pure nodes. And the one on the normal node is scaled to 600 per minute, and the ones on the pure node actually scale to 720 per minute. So we're actually getting just over 2,000 limestone delivered here per minute. Of course, it's a little bit more than we need because we don't actually need all of these industrial beams, I don't think, but anyway. All right, so then the concrete actually goes to a couple of locations. First, it goes to these encased industrial beams, and then it gets lifted up for some other stuff. So what we'll do now is we'll take a look at the uranium fuel production, which should be available right here, and we'll just make sure that it's all working, because that was the whole point of this first part of the guide. So let's see, these guys, nope, these are just processing this stuff, which we also have to boost now. Okay, so this is all producing, so you can see it actually also takes concrete, so that was one of the other demands that we had. So let's go, actually I want to be on the other side of this. So, actually that's producing encased uranium cell, come on. I think these guys are producing, let's check this, so 1.2 per minute, okay. Yeah, so we are overproducing quite a bit in terms of the encased industrial beam, which is fine. So this has everything that it needs, which is good to see. Alright, and then we can actually look all the way back, and you can see that some of them are not quite producing. So let's take a look at why they're not producing, just to sort of make sure that we have appropriately scaled everything. Alright, so this is missing electromagnetic control rods. Is that the case for everything else? Now, one of the problems for the electromagnetic control rod is that the production rate is actually very low. So even if you have all the rates that you need, it's actually going to take a long time for all of the storage to fill up, right, of all of these, because at the start of them they're going to have like way too much in their storage, on the input buffer I should say, right. These are 7, I mean that one's fine. This one's going to have like 65, right? So it's actually going to take a while for all of these to start producing, because the electromagnetic control rods are not all producing. So, but yeah, I'll just go through the production lines, make sure that everything is working fine, and then we'll check back in with you. Alright, so let's see, I think the electromagnetic control rods get produced right up here. Right, so this is the Stator Production. This is backed up, which is fine. So this is producing. Oh, maybe I made a mistake. Because all of the ones at the back are not producing. So let's check. Okay, there's no AI limiter coming. Ah. Okay, I found the mistake, which you probably already knew about. We hadn't connected these in. So that was actually causing these electromagnetic control rods not to be produced, which then of course would cause the production line of the uranium fuel cell to not be producing, because it's not going to be getting those rods at the rates that it needs. So that's, I think, a really good accomplishment, what we've done here. I'll keep an eye out on all of the various production lines. We'll take another look sort of towards the end and make sure that all of these are then producing. But yeah. Now, the next step is actually for us to look at the processing of the uranium waste. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and make sure that we have everything that we need, and then we'll take you through how the waste production works. So I'll be back with that update. All right. So for this, let's try and get out of this radiation whilst we do the planning. Oh, we only have 14 filters left. How many? Well, I have lots. So iodine fused filter. Oh, it takes aluminum casting and quick wire. Let's see. Quick wire is fine. In fact, we have quick wire like right here somewhere. Alright, that's empty. It's really empty. So let's grab maybe from here. Alright, maybe one more. Good. And then aluminum casting. We might have some at the top. Do we have any in our inventory? No. Right. We might have some at the top. I don't know. But we might also need that for something. So the good news is that we're not going to have to do anything with the aluminum. We have to just do something probably like the bauxite, coal, aluminum scrap, aluminum ingots. All of these are already scaled, so we just have to like look at them a little bit. So we have to put down a few manufactories, a little bit of this, and we do have to do something with the nitrogen production actually. There would be a source of that stuff. Okay, there's nothing in here. So let's go out here, production. No, it'll be an equipment workshop. And we can make some more of these. We'll go back up to 50. And then I hope that, you know, we don't overuse the aluminum casting for this purpose, or that we've brought enough essentially. So, the first step is we need 4 additional blenders. So let's see. Right, I need where are those advanced materials? I need some of these for that. Other than that, we're fine. And then this particle accelerator. Let's put down the blenders because I think that's going to be fairly resource intensive to do that. And then we can grab the materials for the particle collider. Right, it's good to know that we have plenty of the iodine filters though. Like we're back up to 50, so that's twice what we were at the start. Now we actually have enough for all of the uranium nuclear power plants to be working, which is great. Just great. Alright, and we just have to do some stuff here. Alright. So, let's see. I don't actually remember where we need the nitrogen. It might be right here. Yeah, nitric acid. So we have to also do that. Okay. And the silica also has to be done. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, let's put in what we need here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This can go. Right, we won't connect this one just yet. Logistics. Oh, hang on, we should do the output stuff first. 1, 2, 3, I think. Yep. Two, right, let's set up the recipe. Yep. Good. We actually got an alternate recipe, but it's not actually better. So right. So let's do this. Right. Did I put this down wrong? I think I did. Right. Actually goes here. As you can see. Okay. Alright, so then we need to look at the input side of things. Okay, this is actually complicated. Well, let's do the power. let's not connect this guy, but we will connect this. Oh, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe? Oh, that was wrong. 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Is that right? I have to go up there and see. No, it's 6. Right, that's a lot. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like you click, but it doesn't want to execute the click. Right, so connect this through this. Okay, let's also connect this in. Alright, then it's the pipes. Yeah. So we'll just put this there and then on top. We'll do one of those at the end as well. Okay, that one, and this one. This one. Okay. Yep, that's not what I wanted. All right. It doesn't really matter whether I got these. I think I'm doing these pipes slightly different each time, but it really doesn't matter. Okay, so these guys are just missing the input material. Okay. Now, yeah, we're just going to be doing everything. Plutonium pellet. This is, sorry, this is already taken care of. But I want to put this in here. This is fine, this is fine, this is fine, this is fine. And yes, we want to do this and this as well. Okay. And then we also need to do this. So we'll do this next. Okay, so let's go do the nitrogen, then we can do the raw quartz. And then we'll do what's left at the top. All right. Do I have for blenders, yes. For refinery, all good. Yeah, these now have plenty of uranium waste to produce, to process, so that's what we want to see. Extremely radiated all over this place. Okay, let's get down here. Alright, so this is this production, so we'll just sort of in iron ingots, put down the power. This is usually all we do to prepare. Right. Do we actually need more of this, or are we already overproducing this? No, we do need more of it. Okay. Come on. Iron plates. Right. Yep, iron plate, nitrogen. Oh, this sulfur and water we don't need to worry about. It's just this. Water. This is already taken care of. Okay, so we need 2 more blenders here. One and come on, heavy modular frame. Okay. Let's see. Grab 2 of those. Right, so we have to put that thing in first. Okay, we'll put down a bit more foundations here. Alright, so that one goes right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh wait, that one was wrong. I shouldn't have put that way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, we'll just leave that in place. It's not too bad. Right, we'll connect that stuff in later. So let's put this guy right here. Then we'll put logistics, this, oops. This on top. First one, second one. Right. Have I done the power? No, don't think so. So nitric acid, please. Save. the output is just a fluid in this case. That there. That there. I like it when it's a single output, so you don't have to. Okay. Mess around with it. Okay, so that's this bit down here. So we'll just have to put an extra 3 constructors onto the silica production. I don't remember where that is. Well, we can just follow the raw quartz lift. It might actually be here, but it also might not be. That's copper lifting. That's something else. That's coal. It's limestone. Okay, that's raw quartz. It's not on this level. Definitely not on this level. It might be on the next level. Let's see. I've already consumed 5 of those filters. Nope. Next level up. It is. We just need 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. No. Silica. This one then. What is it then? Okay, go. Great, and let's quickly put together the output. That one. Right, so that's the quartz, sorry, the silica, and now it's just this stuff up here. So we've done this, now we need 2 particle colliders. Okay, particle accelerators, I should say. So we need some electromagnetic control rod. Let's grab that from here, actually. Well, I don't think we're going to be able to actually, so forget about that idea, we'll just go up to the top. We're going to have 2 more electromagnetic control, those 2, and then we have to do this, this, and then we're done. Have this, which we don't need. That's fine, that's fine. Good. Good, come on. Still don't want that, don't need that. Don't need that. Okay, here we go. Those. And what else? Particle accelerators. We need cooling system. Now we have everything. Good. That's what we were hoping for. Right, let's put both goes in. Actually, from memory, they don't take that much material on the input and output. Don't know. No, it's just a couple of input materials and one output material. Right. These presents littering the place. I'm really looking forward to them turning off those presents. We probably need to do this quite far. Right. One. I'm not gonna decorate this building since the thumbnail isn't going to be this anyway. This is a big present. Let's get rid of you. Alright, the output is right here, so that's one of those. And the second one. So, yep, just connect this into there. Good, and let's configure the recipe, plutonium pellet. Good. Okay, we just have 2 input materials that we need. And then 1, 2. Sometimes it's hard to tell like if I'm deleting the bottom 2 because that top one sort of still is shiny for a while after you place it. Right. Here we go. Alright, let's see. So that's all connected. And how many of these are we going to need? So the next step, 2 particle colliders, 6 assemblers. So we just need another 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So what would these be making? Yep, these encased plutonium cells. What just happened? Didn't want to give me that. Okay. Go. Interesting. Okay. Autosave. then the last step, I believe, is done in the manufacturer. Is it? Yep. I think that one has like 4 inputs. Aggregate the output. Good. So these are all good to go. All right, let's see how many of these manufacturers. 4? Yep, 4. So 18 steel beam. Yeah, 4 manufacturers. So 1, 2. Let's see if we can get out of the uranium, out of the radiation. Nope, we cannot. Right, so we have to pick up something else. Whatever that might be, I don't know. Oh yeah, we need more wire. Yeah, that's the last step. We'll actually do the guide bottom to top. So we'll go to the bauxite stuff, the aluminum production stuff, and we'll take it all the way to the top. So let's see, we still got plenty of those, so that's good. Let's look at each of the materials. Yep, plenty of concrete. Right, we can do with more of these plates. We're not going to need any more pipes. Oh yeah, we might. Right, let's grab actually a bunch of pipe material here. Okay, whatever that was, we've already taken all of it. I think that was the belt stuff. Right. Yeah, let's take a little bit of this. Plenty of this already still available. Plenty of that. Okay, we already took some of that. Good. Need more wire. And then let's refresh this guy. We can put back these 7. Okay, got only a small number of those. No AI limiters. Alright. I think we should be good. Should be good. Let's see what's in this box. Yeah, we'll be fine. Right. Good. Just needed to put in one more of these, and we can configure the plutonium fuel rods. this has plutonium fuel rod configured in it. Right, the mergers go right here. To go through there. Right. Let's see. We need all of the inputs. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 and a 1, 3. And a 1, 2, 3, 4. And a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And a 1. And a 2, 3. And a 4. And 1 more 5. Yeah, see how it sort of is orange just as it builds? Makes it hard to know when I switch to the destruction tool whether I've accidentally highlighted that one too. Right. So usually best done top to bottom. Alright, let's do this top to bottom then. These guys still need power, I believe. Haven't connected that yet. Why would you do that? Right. Yeah, this need power. Right, that's all of them connected. Actually, no, we'll do it back to front. Do it back to front here. We'll start with this one, and then we'll sort of just show all of the other input materials that are still required. Let's see. Is any of them close? Aye, they're close. Alright, we have prepared everything. So the way that we'll approach this is we'll see where the waste finally goes. And then we'll work sort of backwards. So I'll just sort of show you one of the plutonium fuel cells actually make its way into the awesome sink out of these manufactories. There should be one. I saw one. So yeah, you can see that these plutonium cells go in here, and then of course we get a huge number of these coupons, 500,000 per minute. So we actually will improve that quite a lot. So to produce those plutonium fuel rods, what we need is regular autosaves, as well as encased plutonium cell, steel beams, which we're already producing, electromagnetic control rods, which we're already producing, and then these heat sinks, which we actually haven't quite finished yet. So we will also actually need to do that. But for now, we'll just show you this piece. So this this is the output side from these. So let's connect this whole thing up. So yeah, now this is the output side, and then on the input side, things are interesting, especially because it's hard for me to jump over there. Alright, so this actually has 4 inputs. So the way that we connect those up is that one goes on the ground, and then the next one is 3 up, then the next one is 4 up, and then the last one is 5 up. And then we delete everything underneath. And then we start from the top and hook these things in. Alright. And then we just have to connect these through to the next one. Here we go. Okay. And then we also have to put these lifters on here. And then you should see that these guys should start to receive material. So they're getting everything other than this encased plutonium cell, which of course we haven't been producing as much, and these electromagnetic control rods, which also are quite intensive to produce. So they'll take time to actually build up the input. So then you might say, well, how do you produce these encased plutonium cells? Well, that's what happens over here. So the way that encased plutonium cells are produced is that we need these plutonium pellets and concrete. So concrete we've already taken care of in the past, so we don't need to worry about that, but of course we will need to look at how to produce the plutonium pellets. So let's connect this output here, and then this is a dual input kind of an arrangement, so very sort of standard. We just connect it like this. Alright, and then we connect things into here, and then we connect things into here. So then we can take a look here. We're already getting concrete in here, which is great, exactly what we need. The plutonium pellet is again quite resource intensive to produce, so we're not necessarily going to have a lot of that. You can see that even this one here that has been connected for a long time doesn't have a lot of them. But yeah, so that's this step. Now, this next step is actually the first time where you see uranium waste. And that's in these particle accelerators that we have connected here. So these are the first ones that actually take uranium waste on the input, which is how you can see that we are actually going to be cleaning up after ourselves. Alright, so let's connect this through. There's actually a second input of uranium waste that we take. We'll look at that in a minute. So these particle accelerators just have a fairly straightforward 2-input arrangement. So we just need to connect those inputs through, and right at the top there you'll be able to see the waste coming through. Alright, I forgot to connect this through. Alright. So yeah, now we are starting to process this uranium waste and this non-fissile uranium. So you haven't seen this non-fissile uranium yet, so let's show you how that gets made, which is another material that actually requires these this nuclear waste as an input. Get rid of this. Alright. Yeah, you can see that starting to be produced over here, and then in the end we'll take a look at this building here for some increased production there. Alright, so let's look at this thing at the end. This is also another somewhat complicated production line to put together. this also actually produces, so if we look at this, right, so it takes uranium waste, silica, nitric acid, sulfuric acid, and actually produces a little bit of water. So you have to make sure that you sink this water. I usually just connect it back into the water supply line and deduct it from the water that we actually need to produce overall. So that's usually how I do it. But yeah, so this takes uranium waste, it takes silica, which you haven't seen, which we need to go and produce. It takes nitric acid, which we also haven't seen, so we need to go look at how that gets produced. And then it also gets sulfuric acid, which we've seen plenty of times before. All right, so let's hook up this piece. So yeah, let's get this output. Actually, we need to start with this one here because it goes up. All right, so we'll connect this in. Right, and then we need to collect this water output, which is right here. Mr. Quickline, we're actually producing the tutorial right now. So we are just in the last little stages of explaining how the nuclear waste is processed. So it's all right. Don't have to apologize for interrupting. Now look at this, and we actually find another mistake that I made where I haven't connected the water output, which is good that we spotted that. I wonder what all the other mistakes are that I've made, but I'm sure at some point we'll spot it. All right, so that's the water output, and now let's take a bit of a look at the input. That's all good. All right, so this one actually has 4 inputs, so we will put this one here, and then this needs to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so pretty high up. So we'll connect this through. I'm not going to worry too much about that. Well, I will actually, because I made this mistake. So it's 6 actually on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's connect this. We can also get rid of that. Then it should be level. Good. Right, let's connect this through. And then connect this. See that it's happily starting to consume some of this nuclear waste. Right, so now we need to connect the pipes in. Alright. Here we go. Unfortunately, no guidance, but that's alright. No snapping. Alright, so now you can see that this is starting to produce. It doesn't have any nitric acid yet, so let's take a look at this one here. But yeah, it has all the input materials. So now what we need to do is go look at the next stage. Actually, I need to show you this part as well, which I haven't shown you. Right, so we've already looked at this. So we boosted this to 8 manufacturers producing 2 fuel rods per minute. Requiring 20 heat sinks, 12 electromagnetic control rod, 36 steel beam, and 60 encased plutonium cell. And yep, we've taken care of these already. This one we actually need to look at in a minute, so I'll just mark it as not being done, and we'll take a look at this in a minute as well. We have taken care of this, which we were just looking at. So we've put down 8 blenders instead of 4, not 84, that consume 120 or produce 120 water per minute and 400 non-fissile uranium, and consume a bunch of sulfuric acid, a bunch of nitric acid, a bunch of silica, and of course our uranium waste. And then we've also looked at this one here. So we've gone to 4 particle colliders, producing 120 plutonium pellet per minute from 100 uranium waste and 400 non-fissile uranium. Something to keep in mind actually here is that you have to treat this as sort of one unit in terms of looking at the uranium waste, because you can see that this is actually consuming 400 uranium waste overall. Otherwise this is a little bit complicated to figure out. But yeah, so we're producing 280 uranium waste actually. So we're going to be able to process a lot more uranium waste than is actually being produced, which I think is a really good situation to be in. And yes, we also took care of this. So we now have 12 assemblers producing 60 encased plutonium cell from 240 concrete and 120 plutonium pellets as well. All right, so the next step is actually we've already looked at this, so that's all good. All right, let's slide through here. The next step is that we need to follow this nitric acid back and look at how that ends up getting produced. Okay, that's actually on a lower floor. So let's go down one level. Actually, it'll be down 2 levels because it's one of the sort of raw fluid production lines. This looks so cool with all the materials going up and down. I like it a lot. All right, here we go. So this is the nitric acid production. So that gets done in a blender. So let's take a quick look at that. So down here, so we had 2 blenders. Now we need to go to 4 blenders that produce 120 nitric acid per minute, because of course that's the demand down here. And then it's going to be consuming 40 iron plates, 120 water, which we've already taken care of, and 480 nitrogen gas, which we are already producing up here. So that's all good. And then yeah, we also need to take a quick look at these and double them to 2 constructors and 2 smelters as well, that are producing 60 iron, 30 iron plates, of course consuming the 60 iron and then consuming 60 iron ore. So that all happens on this level here. And then of course we need to connect the output. So the only output on these is the nitric acid, which is very handy. So let's connect that up. Right here. Where is it? Here it is. Never mind. That didn't work out at all. Okay. Maybe this will be it. Right. That will work. And then on the input, it takes iron plate. So that's this one. I had already actually put that one in. I didn't need to, but I did anyway. So let's connect this in. And then it also takes water and nitrogen gas on the input. So let's connect these 2 together. There and there. Get this right? No. There we go. Okay, so that's now getting all of the materials that it needs to produce nitric acid, which is really good. And then we also have to produce a little bit of iron here. So that's, or iron plates. So let's put that together. So that needs to go through here. And then this is going to start to produce, of course, and then we have to collect the output. Oops, that's wrong. Okay, and then over here we need to be producing iron plates. So we need to put in a splitter again. All right, oops. Okay, I can't afford that. However, there is actually, we will take a look at this production line in a minute. There is alclad over here, so it's all good. So let me go and collect some of that. because we actually overproduce the aluminum because it's easier to overproduce than not. And it's also kind of handy to have the conveyor belt material just available in a given location. Okay, grab one more actually, and then we can put this back, collect one more. All right, and I also have to remember to do the heat sinks. All right, let's get back to the iron ore production. Look at all of these production lines. I'm very proud of this build. It's very complex. Right, we got this wrong. And then we just need this merger. Alright, let's make sure that everything is all good here. Okay, that's connected. Alright, so now they're getting fed with all of the materials. One of the other things that we also have to look at is the aluminum production. So this is all taken care of now. Now, where was the aluminum production? Okay, down here. The aluminum production already produces 180 outlet, so this demand is only going to go to 20, right? Because this heatsink production is going to require 20 if we double it, but we already have plenty of it, so I'm not going to actually change this production. But yeah, it's a pretty standard aluminium build. It requires water and bauxite, whatever, however that's pronounced, on the input. It produces silica on the output. Now I know that we need silica as well, somewhere up there, but we actually end up dumping it on this level because it's easier and more reliable to just use quartz. But yeah, and then it produces alumina solution on the output, which we take into this one blender, no, what is this called? This is called a refinery, and produce aluminum scrap. This also produces water, so there's a bit of a feedback loop in terms of the output of the water, where we have to connect it back into our water production. And then I actually make use of an alternate recipe where I can produce aluminum ingots from aluminum scrap in smelters. I think by default you have to do something else, but yeah, I think that's pretty handy. And then this together with copper ingot, which we get from another level coming down here, produces alclad aluminum sheet in this, which is just a 2-input production line, which is pretty straightforward. And then the other thing that happens right here is that we actually produce these heat sinks, which requires some copper sheet, which again just comes from a different level, and it consumes this alclad aluminum sheet on the input. And the overproduction of this alclad first goes into one of these storage containers, and if it's full, it just gets dumped. And of course, the silica also just gets dumped. So whilst we're over here, let's just put down a couple more of these heatsink production lines, which we will need. Otherwise, we're not going to be having enough of those. I actually forgot to do this earlier. But anyway, alright, so let's put together, or let's select the heatsink. Here we go. More heatsink. This is actually kind of high up in terms of the input line here, so I'm going to guess it's 4. Yep. So let's put that there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another autosave incoming. Alright. Ooh, that was actually wrong. So we need to go 1 level up still. That's fine. Let's put that into there. Here we go. this wrong, but we didn't actually do it wrong. So let's connect this into here, this into here, and then they just need a spot of power. And then they'll start producing. Right, so the heat sinks, I'd mark down here. So what the net demand here is actually going to be 20 heat sink for these plutonium fuel rods, right? So we have just doubled that to 4 assemblers that are actually going to be producing 30 heat sinks. So we're going to be overproducing this, but that's fine. We're going to be demanding 12 copper sheet and 20 alclad aluminum sheet. Okay, so we have taken care of this. What else? Okay, we still need to go look at the raw quartz, and then that's the last step. So I'm pretty excited for this. And then we can go back up to the top and see all of the uranium waste being processed. All right. And then that's what it takes to actually put together the nuclear power plant. In fact, 70 gigawatts of nuclear power plant. You can see that we are reliably making around 90 gigawatts. And have it no nuclear waste be produced. None at all. Well, I mean, it gets produced, but then it gets processed down, right? All right, where is the quartz production? Let's see. Okay, it still goes up 1 level, so we'll have to just go up there. And then we might just have to do a little bit of debugging in some cases. Did we go up too high? I think we did. No. What? Did we go up 1 level too high? I'm confused. Yeah, we went past this level, which of course is where the production line is. Alright, so this is where the raw quartz gets lifted through here, and then at some point right here we have our quartz production line. So that is, okay, so this is already taken care of. We're going to be producing 200 silica in 6 constructors, not in 63, but in 6, that are going to be producing 223, no, 25 silica per minute from, okay, if we doubled this, 120, 135, I think, raw quartz. So this is already taken care of, and this is actually 135. I updated this. All right, so we just need to put down the output, sorry, the input here. Let's do, okay, let's try to get that right. Still not. What's going on here? Go. Alright, we almost did. We're getting everything wrong. Alright, this needs to have silica and then get power. Okay, no, we just need to connect this in, this in. We're floundering on the last little bit here. Alright, then it just needs to aggregate the output. Yeah, here we go. Now we're making silica as well. So that's the end-to-end process. Now we have every single uranium waste being consumed up here over time. And then all of these should now be producing as well. Now some of these ones at the back are not producing, so let's go and investigate why not. might have made some mistakes. Alright, here we go. So no, they have all the material. It's just about, I think, some of the other input materials getting produced over time. Okay, let's make sure. Okay, this doesn't have the material yet, which might be the reason. Let's see. Alright, so yeah, these are getting input material, just not at a very high rate. And it's probably because these guys are not producing quite at the like they need to catch up and actually fill up some of these input lines, and then more of them will actually be in use. But yeah, that's what it takes. So in total, 70 gigawatts of power, which is all put down over here, right down there. So that's all producing. So yeah, very proud of this production line. It's taken 40 hours to put together, but we finally have put it together. So that's a pretty good situation to be in. So for the guide, that's it. Thank you for watching. Until next time, bye. Alright, there we go. Okay, there's another present. Not enough space. What do we want to delete? Maybe these. Alright, that was a massive build. I don't think I'm gonna do anything quite that size again. This is still not consuming all the not getting the electromagnetic control rods. Let's take a quick look at that. Oh man, this is we have to work for a long time to actually get out of this production line. Are they being produced over here? I forgot. I think they are. As long as all of them are producing, it's fine. Yeah, I think all of them are producing. It's just that it'll take time for them to filter backwards. Should we go back to the power plant and see all of them working? At the moment it's only like 85 gigawatts being produced. Oh, here we go. Now it's 90 gigawatts. I think it's just like, it needs to like filter in all of the input materials over time, and then we should be good. Like all the input buffers need to be filled up. Right. How are we doing with processing the uranium waste? Oh, look at that, there isn't any. That's really good. There will be more here in a second, once this train delivers. So we get about 2 stacks. But they all seem to be able to be processed. Let's wait for the next train and see if by the time the next train arrives, it's all gone. Oh, and the other thing that we should actually check is, okay, there's the fuel rods coming. Okay, that's good. The other thing we should check is whether it's actually just because we have a lot of that stuff in storage, or whether that's also reducing. They're in storage here. No, that's the uranium. Alright, we have a bunch of it in storage, but now it's okay, it's going to stop actually being added to the storage, and it's being lifted basically almost at a full 120. Well, it was. But it should continue to be processed. Yeah, there it goes again. Right, very cool. And of course, if you know, we fill up this storage container and all the other storage in between, then we just end up reducing the amount of uranium or the amount of nuclear power that we end up producing. Alright. Yeah, I do want to actually go to the power plant. We only have so many iodine filters left. Let's go to the back. Should be able to ride this train without getting irradiated. Very cool. We don't actually need this station anymore, really. There isn't coal. Well, I guess it does get sort of put onto here, but we actually have another source of coal now, so that's all good. I wonder if when the train turns around we'll get radiation. I think we will. Alright, come on, let's get going. Because we're going to have the radiation wagon go past, like, I don't know. The first the first wagon is where we have the uranium fuel rods. This is the nitrogen. Yeah, we actually make use of this nitrogen quite well. And now they should start to produce again after the that gets switched. Yep. See that it's green again, and then it fills up the storage. The fact that it's yellow means that we actually have plenty of input. Unless, of course, the delivery lines are too slow. But I don't think that's the case. We'll take a bit of a look here, and then we'll go back and take a bit more of a look. The production line, see if we find any other problems. But it looks like a lot of them are actually producing a lot of the power plants. Alright. Alright, I actually want to get through here. Come on. Okay. Yeah, this one's definitely producing. That's all good, okay. We have plenty of uranium fuel rods stored up here. So that's good. Uranium waste is sort of queuing up. Alright, not all of these are producing, unfortunately. And it's probably because they don't have fuel rods, because it has to filter through. You know. It's like feeding the fuel rods through here. So this consumes 0.2. 28 times 0.2. Oops. Yeah, 5.6. Which I think is what we are producing. Six. 5.6, yeah. Okay, very cool. Some of these are also producing. I think over time more of these will start to produce and then would actually go to the full power potential of them. Right, let's catch this train back. Actually, let's get into the back. That's all of the uranium waste. Right, this is excellent. I don't really know how we could make even more. It would be such a ridiculous amount of limestone that we would need to improve this product. Although I'm overproducing some materials significantly. Like the encased industrial beam, I'm pretty sure I'm producing more than I need to be. So anyway, I don't think that we're really going to be going above like 100 gigawatts of power consumption. That would be quite a lot. Quite a lot. Alright, on the way back I want to take a look and see how the uranium fuel rod production is going. These are three materials that get delivered into here. It's iron ore, limestone, and raw quartz. And they usually just top up some of the production, some of the storage. They don't like fully consume it. So, like on the delivery side, it doesn't use all of it. That's the coal line right there. Coal and copper. Alright, so we're back. We're back home. Now we would have definitely run out of iodine filters if I hadn't produced more. Right, let's see how we're doing with processing the uranium waste. Consuming a lot of uranium. Right, that's actually reducing. So it used to be like that we had all of these stacks, but now it's actually reducing over time, which is exactly what we want to see. Because we have overcapacity for the uranium waste production or consumption. Which is good. So then we won't actually have a lot of it stored. let's take a quick look at the uranium fuel production. I think it's on the next step. Oh, there goes another present. Okay. This is the uranium, yeah. This is where the magic happens. All right. So all of them are producing now. So that's good. That's really good. So it should gradually just sort of balance up and up and up to start more of the nuclear power plants working and so on. Right, let's take a look at how many points per minute we're actually getting. So I think that'll be a cool statistic to look at. It should be like a lot more points now. Back here. A lot of these are producing as well now. One more thing at the end of this guide, you can actually see that we now go to a ridiculous amount of nearly 1 million points per minute. Sometimes we peak. So it just depends on how many of the plutonium fuel rods get produced in a given minute. But yeah, we actually are getting a huge number of these coupons. Our normal base rate is at around 120,000. I think most of that comes from batteries which we're sinking somewhere. But yeah, now we actually get like 700,000 per minute. And I've been looking at the uranium waste storage. So that's actually starting to reduce as well over time, which is a really good sign, and we're expecting it to reduce. And I also went to the uranium, the nuclear power plants, and you know, a lot of them are starting to actually produce power as well. It's going to take time to like have all of that stuff filter its way through to all of the nuclear power plants. Right, especially that sort of one in the back left, because it actually has so many other ones that have to have the inputs kind of fully filled up before we get to that one. Yeah, you can see most of these are actually producing now. So it's just a matter of producing more plutonium waste, plutonium stuff, and more uranium waste coming back. So it's just going to gradually sort of bounce back and forth and lift the production rates up to where they need to be, so we will actually get a lot more power production, probably a lot more than we'll ever need. You can see that, yeah, sometimes it goes down back, but then it comes back up to like nearly 90 gigawatts of power production. We have about 20 to 30 gigawatts connected to the grid from other sources, so that sort of explains that. But yeah, I just wanted to give you that sort of update, because we actually went through and checked some of the things. So yeah. All right. We'll probably leave it at that for today, and then next time we'll think about what we might want to do next. Maybe something a little bit less crazy, because this has been just incredibly crazy in terms of the input materials and so on, that it actually took. Now all of them are producing, right? When I've turned off the recording. Anyway, so yeah, probably maybe something that doesn't take 30 hours to get to where we actually can do something with it. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, anyway, looking forward to that as usual. But for now, thank you for watching, and until next time.